So my name is Bo Bass, and this is Bass Appraisal Group. We do real estate appraisal and consulting work. Come on in, let me show you around. So when I was 15 years old, I went to Atlanta and worked with my father, who was working with a firm, and really thought it was cool what those guys do. And as I graduated high school in 1994, I started here full time and worked my way through as I was getting my degree at the University of West Georgia. Wow. Come on inside. Let me introduce you to the founder of our company, my father, Hugh Bass.
Thank you, Bo. So this year we'll be celebrating 40 years of this business. We started in 1985. In 1985, for the most part, I went to work for a firm in Atlanta, Pritchett Ball and White, to do my apprenticeship to learn how to do commercial appraisals. So we now feature commercial appraisals. And when I say commercial, that includes retail, industrial. It may include apartments, hotels, motels, special use properties such as schools, churches, and government buildings. And we also appraise a lot of land, just agricultural type land. So our coverage area is not just Carroll County, even though this is where we're located. We travel generally in 50 to 60 miles of here. We get up to Rome. We go down to LaGrange and Newnan and Columbus and Fayetteville and places like that to do appraisal work as well. So we see a lot of different little market areas in our work. And our clients, we do work generally for lenders. We do it for banks. We do it for attorneys. We do a lot of work just for property owners who want to know what their property value might be, either for estate purposes, buying or selling. And we do a lot of eminent domain work for people such as the Georgia Department of Transportation, who generally in road widening projects or doing roundabouts and things of that nature. We also do work for Georgia Transmission Corporation, installing power lines across property. So that is pretty much what we do. So let's go back to Bo, who's going to introduce you to Thomas.
Thanks, Dad. Now let's go meet the youngest member of our team, the youngest brother, Thomas Bass. And he will talk to you about what in the world an appraisal even is.
Come on in, have a seat. So, as appraisers, our most common question we get is what even is an appraisal? And in simple terms, it's just purely an opinion of market value. And that's based on our knowledge and experience through the many years of doing this job. So that begs the question, what even is market value? And essentially, it is the most probable price a property would bring if it was available for sale. So, if you were to put a for sale sign out in front of your property, what do we think it should sell for? Now, there's some differences between price, cost, and value. Just because something costs X amount of dollars doesn't mean it's going to add the equivalent amount to the value. Best example is a pool. You put a pool in your backyard, cost you $100,000. That doesn't mean your property is going to bring $100,000 more. And price is just what something actually sold for. It does not necessarily equivalent to what the value is. Somebody may be willing to pay more for a property and pay a higher price, whereas others may, look to get rid of a property quickly, and so it may sell for a lower price. So we take all this kind of into consideration when we try to estimate the market value of a property. And, when we prepare an appraisal, it is essentially a book report on a property. It's, while that may not sound like fun, I quite enjoy it. We get out and get to see a lot of different types of properties, go to different areas of the North Georgia area. And so it's a very enjoyable job to have here. So I'm going to send it back to Bo to let him kind of describe to you what exactly we look for when looking at a property.
Thank you, Thomas. Now let's go hang out in my office for a bit. So one of the most important factors in real estate, as many people know, is location, location, location. What's around the property? Is it in a growing neighborhood, a declining area, or maybe a stable area? Another factor is accessibility. How easy is it to get to and from the property? Exposure is another factor. For certain uses such as industrial, exposure is not as important as for retail, restaurants. They need high traffic counts in front of their property because they need the exposure. And so for the property, we look at the land, the physical characteristics of the land. We look at the site improvements, and we also look at the building. Site improvements may entail parking, landscaping. Does the property have adequate parking? What's the condition of the paving? Is there going to be a lot of money that needs to be spent on repaving a property when it sells? And then for the building, we look at the general characteristics such as the quality of construction, the interior finishes, and the overall condition of the building. A building that has a new roof cover is likely going to command a higher price than one that has a roof cover that needs replacing. And once we have an understanding of the general physical characteristics of the property, we then look in the market for sales of similar properties, rentals of similar properties, and sometimes depreciated replacement cost. And from there, we're able to estimate the market value. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. If you or anyone you know is in need of appraisal services, please feel free to reach out to us.
You can reach us at our phone, 770-832-1770, or check out our website, bassappraisalgroup.com. Thank you.